Well, welcome back to the Active Self Protection Extra channel. This is Carrie Dudenhofer, and I am here today with the extraordinary Miss Jamie Green, and she's one of our recent ASPIC graduates from the Active Self Protection Instructor Certification Program. And we have a few questions for her today. So we'll be right back.
Tom pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense.
All right, welcome back. All right, so Miss Jamie, let's jump in with would you please tell us a little bit about yourself and the type of teaching you do and where you're at and your favorite type of student to teach? So start out with a little bit about yourself and the type of teaching you do.
All right, that's great. I live in Arkansas and I've worked for a construction company. I've been the office manager for 29 years now, I think. And I'm married to a wonderful guy who supports every single thing I do. And in fact, when I ask the question, can we, he always responds with anything you want. So he's a keeper. That lets me get into a whole lot of things, and that's kind of fun, mostly, sometimes dangerous, but we usually come out on the other side. So that's good. My favorite type of student to teach, I think, is the person who is brand new, maybe a little reticent, maybe a little scared, maybe has had a bad experience, and we've got some barriers we need to break down. So I'm really interested in helping people find a way to bulldoze that down and be successful.
Oh, I love that. I love your terminology. A little reticent, find a way to bulldoze that stuff down. That's awesome. Okay. Next question. Where do you do most of your teaching? And what's your favorite? Oh, you already said your favorite type of teaching. Oh, where do you do most of your teaching? Is indoor range, outdoor range?
Mostly indoor ranges. I have taught some on the outdoor range, and I do enjoy that. Recently taught at an armed women state shoot and did an intro to home defense shotgun. So I've got to be outside and use some of the fun
Nice.
things I learned in that fabulous Beretta that I bought. Thank you, Mary Widener.
And you teach around the country as well.
Yes, I do. I travel just a little bit and would be pretty willing, to jump in a car or jump somewhere and go teach with whoever. I noticed recently you were close to where I was. You were about 4 hours away at the one conference you just taught at. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. Traveled a few places to teach and really enjoy it.
oh, that's awesome. All right. So, what led you to consider ASPIC, the Active Self Protection Instructor Certification course?
Well, I think, the relationship with John and Neil and taking classes with them and the philosophy of ASP, that it's evidence based, that everything they do is not hearsay. It's because it's proven. And I think that's impactive as an instructor, that you use information that is evidence based, and we're not just using what we read on the internet somewhere. That, and the fact that I'm a perpetual student and I always want to learn more, but I want to be the best instructor I can be. And the in-depth approach to ASPIC is no one out there is doing it. And it was exciting to be a part of. So I'm really glad I made the choice.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you're definitely our perpetual student. I love that. It's one of the things I love about you. I also adore your Southern accent. So this
Thank you.
this interview might go on for 20 hours or so, just so I can
I'm
listen to Miss
good.
Jamie.
Let's go.
I think I've told you before. I'd pay money to listen to you read the phone book. So, all right. What are your 3 favorite things about your ASPIC experience?
I think the most favorite thing was the relationship developed with that particular group of people. Just an amazing set. And of course, you don't pick who you're with. That's luck of
Right.
the draw, and just an incredible group. So that was one. I like the fact that the program continues after it's over. Your last cohort meeting is not the end of your ASPIC experience because of the ongoing webinars and things that you can attend, but just that group relationship that we still have. Several of us will be at the ASP National Conference, so we're excited about that. And so, yeah, I think that, but also from the teaching side of it, it opened my mind about certain aspects of teaching philosophy, teaching props, ways to help people learn that might not be as conventional as what I've been exposed to before because of the group of people I was with. So I think I took a lot away from that. And the books, of course, we read helped deepen that for me.
Awesome. One of the things I admire about you so much, Miss Jamie, is your ability to and your desire to mentor newer instructors and to bring people into the fold, not only into the training world, but also to move them along in their instructor certification. And I just love that you took this class with a group of folks from your area that are
Yeah,
instructors as well. And I think it's so neat that you guys all went together and did this together. So what a
it
neat
was
community
fun.
you've built there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
great people too. Okay,
Yes.
what's different about you or your teaching post ASPIC? Not necessarily asking how did ASPIC change your teaching, not that, but what's different about you or your teaching since you've been in the ASPIC program?
I think in looking back through that and evaluating where I am now versus where I was pre ASPIC, I think I'm a better listener for my students. I think I hear them much better than I did before because I feel like I'm more focused about their goals when I'm developing new curriculum or even just teaching in a class. It's so much more about them now than it was before. Even though before I felt like I was student oriented, I feel like I am much deeper into that than I was prior to this. And I think it came out of so many things we experienced during the development of the course.
Oh, that's good to hear. I know exactly what you mean by that. I had that experience as well during my cohort. And I apologize for my voice. I spent 3 days out of the last five teaching on the range for 8 hours a day. So my voice is still recovering.
Yeah.
You can hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, very cool. All right. So, in your eyes, what are some essential qualities of an outstanding instructor?
I think really good listening skills. If you're talking all the time, it's hard to hear your student. And if you're not present in the moment, it's hard to hear the student. And I think that's something that everybody should always strive to do. I think empathy is very important as well. Everyone has a story, and people come to you with challenges that maybe you weren't anticipating. I spent an hour and 20 minutes after a class last week listening and listening and listening to trauma and what she had been through. And it was pretty rough. And I had to keep assuring her I was not a counselor, but I could listen. And I
Yeah.
did for an hour and 20
Oh,
minutes and some tears. We cried together. And so hopefully she felt united in her purpose. That was my goal for that. So I think we have to be prepared for that student because they're going to
mm,
show up and be ready to accept that. I think the ability to communicate information in multiple ways, because if we can't find different ways to say it, then we're going to have that student who misses. And I even find that as a student myself, listening to Brian Hill, understand about how we engage the chest muscles and all of the things we do to stabilize the gun. And I get that from an intellectual standpoint. I was in a class in Branson with Mike Hughes of Next Level Training with the CERT guns, and Mike said the very same thing. But all of a sudden, Mike reached up and touched the spot on his chest where the muscle was. And it was like a light bulb went off. And I went, oh, I get it now. It was the most interesting thing to hear the same words, but just in a little bit different way, and how impactful that was to me as a student. So I think it's important as instructors, we find that same thing and perform that for our students in multiple ways. And I think the last thing on that for me is to be tenacious and to dig for the answers that your students need because they are certainly not in a box. And dealing with one of the I'm presenting at conference overcoming challenges because I've had some physical challenges with joint
yeah.
replacement and some things, and the words grip the gun harder simply do not work for me anymore. So
Yeah.
I've had to find some ways around that, and then it began to open up this Pandora's box of all the things I see people go through. I worked with a lady the other night who struggles with essential tremors, and she's
Yeah.
not an elderly person. She's younger than I
Right.
am. And I had been digging in a chat room, and this gentleman said that his wife dealt with those her whole life. And so she pulled the pistol back more to her chest and did not go out to full extension, which told the brain, don't do the tremor. And she can shoot like that. So I tried that with our student and it helped her. And she looked at me and she said, I
Wow.
guess I'm not hopeless. And I said, you never were
Oh,
hopeless.
gee.
We just have to to keep digging. And so I'm in this big rabbit hole of how do we overcome some of these things and through unconventional methods, but no article said that. It was from
Right.
a chat room, right? So I think tenacious to keep digging and let's find the way to get through that together.
Oh man, I love that, Miss Jamie. I'm sure everybody watching knows exactly why I appreciate you so much and adore you
Oh,
so much, and I'm so
thank you.
grateful that I get to share this space with you. Yeah, tenacity, what a great, and your willingness to meet your students where they are. And
Yeah,
I like how you said not just listening, but also being present. It's easy for me to not be present when I'm teaching, or for me to think about going on to the next topic. And
exactly, because that's what we have to do to keep the class rolling. But if we're not aware of what they're communicating to us through either body language or words, then we may miss an important teaching opportunity.
So true. Good stuff. Good stuff about the essential tremor too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that was
use that.
fascinating. I'm not through with that one yet. There's still work
Okay,
to do there. I'm still digging
good.
on
We'll
that
have to
one.
talk.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is next for you in your instructor journey?
Oh wow, Brian Hill always next year, 2024, where he's coming to a range near me. So I'm excited about that. We're hosting him in June here, and that's always fun. I always learn, and because he's always changing it up, he's never the same
Yeah.
instructor. It's always new information. The class might be the same, but the information is updated and good. And then Greg Ellifritz, being the wonderful gentleman that he is I've been in this deep rabbit hole with revolvers lately because I just
Yes.
love to shoot any gun, but I've really been trying to pick up skill in revolvers because I see a lot of people come who feel like that is their
Yeah.
only gun. Okay, well let's help you shoot it well if that's
Yeah.
the gun that you feel like you need. So he's trying really hard to work in a pass through about 2.5 hours from where I'm at on one of his forays out to teach and do a revolver. And then I've also hinted that, hey, another shotgun class wouldn't be bad. I just read his last report on his last shotgun class, and I thought, well, hey, how about one day revolver, one day shotgun, Greg? So we'll see. We'll see if he can pull that
Oh,
off. But yeah, he's being very accommodating and very sweet. So I'm excited
oh,
about
I
that
love it. I
potential.
love it.
Yeah,
He's one trainer that I haven't trained with, and
me
I'm
either. But
desperate to be able to do that.
yeah, yeah, I was in class with him as a student. That he was taking a class as a student in a class I was at, an active shooter instructor class, and just the nicest guy in the world. And of course, now I really love all the weekend knowledge dump stuff, and a lot
Oh
of
my
learning happens
gosh.
there. So yeah,
Boy,
yeah,
so true. Funny story about the weekend knowledge dump. So I used to read those on Friday mornings, and I had to stop doing that. I kid you not, because I was being delinquent in my mom duties, and I'd be so engrossed in what I was reading, I would let the kids sleep in really late, and then it took us longer to get school done. So now I'm not
yes.
allowed to read. I've made it so I don't read those anymore until Saturday morning, and
There
then
we
I
go.
can enjoy it long.
You
So
can
good
absorb
stuff.
the whole thing. Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, if you go on active response training, you can learn more about Mr. Greg
Mhm.
Ellifritz's weekend knowledge dumps, which are chock full every single time
Every
of
week.
phenomenal information.
I don't
Yeah,
know how
stuff
he
I
does
never
it.
find.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
either.
Yeah, he compiles it
I
all,
don't
and
either.
it's just great. Absolutely.
All right. So, what's something or an area of the training industry that you're excited about or looking forward to?
I think continuing on that theme of overcoming those barriers, whether it's conventional or unconventional, because I think that when we have physical challenges, there are ways around it, but it may not be the typical and the normal. And I think we have to be able to embrace that as instructors, that the way that person stands or holds the gun. I'm bringing something to the conference that is the weirdest, unusual thing that will allow someone to shoot a 22 basically from the waist area, and I see potential there for someone in a wheelchair who doesn't have the ability to raise a gun. Just
Yeah.
how can we accommodate them, because they deserve the right to be safe and be protected as well. So how can we fix that? And I think the industry is beginning to finally listen because of some of the guns they're building, but there are some amazing aftermarket things that I've been able to experience myself because I've ordered this stuff, paid for it, we put it on a gun, and I've tried it to make sure it works. And so I'm bringing several things like that to conference for people to kind of see that it is happening. The wheels are slow, I think. I think we would all agree the wheels are slow with overcoming those things. But if people start to ask these manufacturers for the things, I think it will happen maybe faster. So yeah, I think that excites me, that the senior
Oh,
population, the aging population, as well as people who just have challenges, that we can help them be safe in the world that they're having to live in.
oh, so true. And for them to know that, they might um, stand differently than the person next to them, or walk differently than the person next to them, or look differently, but they have a place here, and they're
Absolutely.
welcome here. And even if
Yes.
their hands, I've had numbers. I know you have two students with missing digits, and one gal was just so concerned because she was afraid to take another firearm class because the one that she'd been in prior to coming to us was she was yelled at quite a bit
Mhm.
to get her
Right.
finger off the trigger, but she was missing the digit. So when she was gripping the gun, it would look like she had her
Like
finger on the
she was
trigger,
in the
but she really
kindergarten, right?
didn't.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
So just to for so they'll know that they got a safe place here and they
Right.
can
And
learn
just to
too.
listen to them, right? Just if that
Yes.
instructor had just walked over to her instead of yelling from a distance, they would have seen
Yes.
the challenge or could have had the discussion with her. She could have shown them and it would have solved a problem, and not now she'll struggle to ever get rid of that. She'll carry
Yes.
that with her.
Exactly.
That experience will
Yes.
stay with her. And so that's a shame. But I'm glad that she found you after that, because I know
Well,
that
I was
you
glad
went
to.
a long way to help with that.
She's a neat lady too. Her name's Miss Jody. She is. Oh man, she's feisty, but good,
Oh,
good
how
stuff.
fun. Yeah.
Okay. So last question: where can extra channel viewers learn more about you or find out about training with you?
Well, I train locally in Arkansas, and we have a website, which is nadmft.com, which stands for NADM Firearms Training. And NADM stands for Never a Dull Moment.
Oh, that is the most appropriately named training business I've ever heard of because you're the instructor. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I love that.
never a dull moment in our world, I'll tell you. So, yeah, that sort of is an offshoot of a little hobby farm I had when my husband and I got married, with miniature donkeys and goats and sheep and chickens. And yeah, he
Oh,
thinks
I
guns are
love
way
it.
more fun. So, anyway, yeah,
All right, never a dull
absolutely.
moment. That's for sure. Thanks, Miss Jamie. I appreciate your time today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.